Welcome to Earrings Off. I'm Lou.
And I'm Teresa. Let's get started.
Okay, Teresa, we got quite a bit of positive feedback on our interview with Dr. Selby, where he offered tax tips and shared financial advice. So, if any of you haven't heard it already, please visit our website at www.earringsoff.com, or you can go on iTunes, Google Podcasts, or Spotify and listen to it. There was lots of good information. So, Teresa, today we thought we'd follow up on that discussion with Dr. Selby and talk a little bit about our own financial journey.
Right.
As much as we're comfortable with sharing. We love you, but some things we're just not there yet. But talk about maybe what's worked for us and what hasn't worked. So, yeah.
Well, I can admit already that it's a struggle for me, and I'm learning, and I'm learning more. And I've just learned about this guy, Dave Ramsey. Have you heard of him?
Yeah.
He's some kind of a financial guru. He has a podcast, and
that wasn't. I know a Ramsey from Food Network, the chef. Okay, sorry,
Chef Ramsey.
Sorry, okay,
different Ramsey.
Okay.
My brother turned me on to him, but apparently a lot of young people are using his method to get themselves out of debt.
See, we're diverting.
Okay. No. This is about financial stuff.
Okay. Yeah.
No, not diverting.
Oh, okay. I thought you were talking about a lot of young people are following the chef.
No.
So I'm the one diverting. Okay, go back.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I think it's good. I'm open to sharing my learnings. I'm kind of fortunate in that. Well, maybe not so fortunate. It just depends on how you look at it.
No, you're fortunate. Go on.
That now that I think about it, maybe not so. I should know more about my own finances, but I kind of leave a lot of that to my husband.
Yeah.
But I'm learning. I'm getting more involved now. As of the last couple of years, I'm getting more involved.
Yeah. Well, and see, for us, early in our marriage, we decided that both of us would have to be involved in the finances. So actually, for us, which may be weird for others, but I do 6 months of the handling the bills and handling the finances, and then we switch off. And then
that's
my husband
awesome.
handles it.
That's
so,
awesome.
We go back and forth. It's like, okay, well, your turn. Here you go. And then, I've had it enough. You do it.
Yeah.
And except for that one time, there was an unfortunate period when it was in my 6 months that somehow I neglected to pay the water bill, had a little bit of a crisis, and I got fired. I'm gonna be honest, I was fired for a few months, and I got some angry stares. The water didn't actually get cut off, folks. I just got a bad notice, and apparently the other member of the family didn't appreciate it, and so I was fired. But now, that was many years ago. I learned my lesson, so I'm good. It was a lot to keep up with.
Well, that's funny you share that, because more recent, we have this extra condo that we don't live in full time, but the bills go there, but it's my job to get the bills to the other house filed so that they can be paid. Well, I put the bill for the electricity in my backpack, and it never made it to the bill pile to be paid, and the electricity did get shut off.
You see, you know what? You always make me feel better. My water was not actually, I just got a bad letter, and I wish I'd gotten home sooner to intercept it, but I didn't. But anyway, for sure, it's got cut off. That's bad.
It's really bad, because that particular day it probably had been cut off for a few days, but when my husband went to the apartment he had actually a meeting, and he needed to do something on the internet and all that to prepare. Nothing. There was nothing.
Yeah.
And he was asking the neighbors, "Is your power on?" And everybody's power was on. So I got that call and I was like, yikes, I have the bill.
Yeah. But well, lessons learned. But actually we do. I'm very involved in the finances, and I don't tell my husband, but I actually think I'm better at it because
he's going to hear this.
Right? I know, but I just do. He will tell you I obsess over it a bit more than he does. So I just like to know where we are. Yeah. But anyway. Yeah. But in terms of what I know that's worked well for us, when Dr. Selby talked about buying a home and buying versus renting, that made me think about when we bought our first home. Mm-hmm. And one thing that I absolutely to this day believe that helped us out financially in the long term was that when we went to the bank to get the mortgage, we actually qualified for a higher sum than we decided to use on our first home. We bought a home that was significantly less than what we qualified for. And it was just that we didn't think we needed all of that. And we were just so happy to get out of the apartment. Anything was a success and a big deal at that point. But because we made that choice, and again, it wasn't intentional. It was just, okay, well, this is the house. This will work for us. Yeah. That when we went into the house, it allowed us to make some other financial moves because we had enough flexibility in our budget and we weren't pressed at that point. And so I think that set us up for some future successes.
Yeah, I agree. Similarly, when we were married, Robert had a house and we lived in that for a long time before purchasing the house that we currently live in. And similarly, we qualified for more. We got less. And Robert actually did a lot of the work himself, which have made us have instant equity in the home. So that worked out. That worked out really well for us. Yeah. He has always been kind of a financial guy. He's always been interested in saving and spending less and that kind of thing. And I don't think about that as much as not that I'm a frivolous spender, but if it's something that I think we need or want, then I would go out and get it. So much so that he's so much so in that way that we couldn't get married until I was free of debt.
What?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Well, if that had happened, I'm thinking I might not have ever gotten married. But anyway, yeah.
That's funny. Yeah, he put me on a path of, I would write a check and not log it. Mm-hmm. That's a bad habit, right? But nowadays, online banking, you can go immediately. But back in those days, there was no online banking. So you really had to keep track of what you were spending because you wouldn't know until that statement came that, unless you went to the bank to check. But so I did learn. I have learned some things from him.
Well, right. And when he talked about setting yourself up for future wealth, and he talked about education, one thing that I do believe that I might have done right, well, I believe, I won't say might, I believe I did right, was to invest in my education. Yeah. In terms of trying to position myself to do better, to have better access. So, and that was a sacrifice. So when he talked about, sometimes you got to spend money to do better. And, and he shared his beliefs about buying property and maybe renting that out. And we talked about, well, that's an expense. How is that helpful? But I can see the long-term benefits of that. Yeah. So.
Yeah, I mean, because some of the wealthiest people are real estate investors. Yeah. So when you can build a portfolio like that with real estate, it is very beneficial. It can be very beneficial.
Yeah. So it was a lot of good information. Of course, one thing that I did get wrong also was that when I was younger, like a lot of people, just getting into the credit card debt, the cycle. Mm-hmm. And it wasn't that I was trying to keep up with anyone, but that's what you saw. You saw a certain level of, I guess, abundance around you, a lifestyle, and you just think that's for you also, but it's really not if your income is not there yet. Right. And even though when you're young, I think just trying to build your career, there's a certain look you're trying to achieve in the workplace, the professional attire and all of that. But of course, now as I've gotten older, I've learned there are better ways to do that. There are thrift stores and all kinds of things you can access in terms of getting quality clothing and making sure you look professional in the workplace.
There are, and one thing too about how life cycles and works. A lot of the things that are in your closet that were old are now new again.
Oh yeah,
you know. So it's like, at least for me, like I hold on to things forever, and I tend to recycle and try to and work it that way versus spending.
But, right. And I know some people are just gifted in terms of being able to work an outfit to to match pieces.
That's not me.
That's not my thing.
That's not me.
I so wish I had that ability. I just don't. I tell people, if it didn't, I'm like one of those little Oshkosh kids. If they didn't put it together in the store, I can't put it together.
You know, I'm the same way. That's funny. We never talked about that.
I can't do
match.
it. I know, right?
I have to buy a suit.
I know. I look at people and I'm like, how did you do that? Yeah, that's just not me. And I've tried. I look at, I read.
About you.
You can't do it.
No, because you seem put together.
No, you do.
No.
No. No, we can't do that. Okay, so now there you have it. But again, we just wanted to follow up on Dr. Selby's conversation and just to remind us
one thing that was some really good information about the starting early with your kids.
Yeah.
And in terms of getting them to reading early, introducing them to math and science early. And what that does, I don't know, I can't remember how deep we went into it, but what that does is set your kids up for scholarships and that sort of thing. And then you don't have to invest so much into college if they do well in those areas and can apply for scholarships and earn them. So that's one of the highlights for me, was just getting that information out there for the parents to invest that time in the kids and your kids, and getting them to a point where they can earn scholarships and that kind of thing for college.
Yeah. That's good information. So, but again, we just wanted to follow up on that conversation from Dr. Selby. It's the beginning of the year. This year is what we make it.
Yes.
And to be more intentional, not only about our physical health, but our financial health, well-being. So, Teresa, unless you have something else to add,
no,
that's it for us here today at Earrings Off, because
when we know better,
we do better. That's it. Have a great day.
A great year.
A great decade.
And please visit us at www.earringsoff.com.